Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips a balance in favor of fair use. Scientology scam, abducting to recruit. Crazy Girl blogger, May 20th, 2019. Wondering how the Church of Scientology recruits new members, like children, by employing abduction as a method of recruitment. Isn't that a crime, LAPD, abducting people or children? I thought that was a crime. I've got the inside scoop on a Scientology scam. Don't be fooled by reports of dwindling numbers. Those numbers only reflect people who are admitting their allegiance to the cult. I'm going to introduce you to a world of practicing Scientologists that aren't even aware they are Scientologists, abducted under the false pretense of rehabilitation, and brainwashed into a cult. Many, not all of these people, believe they're saving lives and that their own lives to this organization called Narconon. I know this because for 7 months, I was one of them. Narconon Scientology. Narconon is a worldwide organization that claims they provide drug rehabilitation services, but they're not. Instead, they're an indoctrination campus for Scientology school. So what's happening? We're experiencing a global opioid epidemic. It's all planned, by the way. Families are desperate to save the lives of drug addicts that they love, and the Church of Scientology is preying on that vulnerability. Of course they are. Once a drug addict finds they've been abducted by the cult, it's not as simple as catching a ride home. You guys know what I keep talking about with the trap. They've been stripped of their identification. That's illegal. Financial means. That's illegal. Cell phones. Also illegal. Sound like Diddy's parties, you guys? I'm listening to or watching this other video about this man who went to Cambodia after his mother had passed away for a trip. And he was set up because they knew he had money, put into a Cambodian prison, gang, RAPED, 4 times, Australian citizen, and you just would be shocked at what they charged him with. It was insane. Because he cracked glass at a ATM machine because he was drugged in the bar that he had gone to. I believe it was a complete setup. And the Australian government would not help him. So the reason I brought this up is he stepped into a trap. So narcissists have traps, but what I'm seeing in these criminal behaviors is, or even like the dark occult, you step into it, it's a trap, you can't even get out. If you go watch the Conquer Soul videos regarding P. Diddy, all the satanic rituals, the satanic blood sacrifices, how they drugged the people going into those parties, there was no ability to say no for most of them. Some of them were wise enough, smart enough to get out of there at those Diddy parties, but a lot of them were not. And bad things happened. And they have people caged below P. Diddy's mansion. And don't think it's just his. Because now they're trying to push that it's conspiracy, But I don't want to go all the way into that. The point I wanted to bring up here is all of these things are traps. Families are desperate to save the lives of drug addicts that they love, and the Church of Scientology is preying on that vulnerability. Once a drug addict finds they've been abducted by the cult, it's not as simple as catching a ride home. They've been stripped of their identification, illegal. Financial means, illegal. Cell phones, also illegal, in freedom to come and go as they please. Additionally, they are flown far from home for intentional isolation and are 30 miles from the nearest town, all by design. You guys notice that these troubled teen homes are the same thing? All the same. Well, that's a whole different, how they do it is different, but it's sick. Ready to find out how Scientology is almost a $2 billion operation, despite reports of decreasing membership numbers. I'm sad to report this is real, but here we go. Fake websites. My family had no idea dialing an internet hotline. So what you gotta watch, you guys, it's a trap. Would engage the first part of Narconon scam. While not present for my parents' conversation, I have insider knowledge of what it sounded like on the other end. As an intern, I assumed the opportunity to monitor calls when I was training to become the recruiter. See how they do it? A recruiting position at Narconon known as a registrar, or the reg, deceive unsuspecting victims into writing checks and signing their loved ones up for the indoctrination. Several days of listening taught me how to find the money. Countless hours of shadowing revealed an evil scheme. So I'm going off a little. Sorry, you guys. It just reminded me of one particular YouTuber that turned out to be a con artist. I'm not going to say his name, but you always got to be careful when they're listening so close and they don't even know you. Narconon operates fraudulent websites that perpetuate themselves as legitimate addiction resource sites. A hotline is provided encouraging you to call in to find the right treatment for the drug addict you're concerned about. A chat bubble presents itself. Staff posing as an operator reaches out offering any support needed during this difficult time. By the way, they don't have any kind of education or training to do this. And they're still running. Eventually, you'll be directed to call in. You see the layers of the trap, you guys? Just like the layers in the trap that P. Diddy set. And Diddy's not the only one doing it. Once phoned, the reg guides the conversation from the script. You're expecting a sympathetic ear, and you may even be presented with one. But in truth, a wolf is on the line. Sniffing out their commission, a series of questions asked determine your financial status under the pretense of concern for your dying addict. Their slogan is, find the money. Huh. Reminds me of the Cuba Gooding movie. Remember when it was Tom Cruise too, by the way. It was actually a good movie where the guy screamed, show me the money. Locating it quickly is demanded, and if there is none, click. Example, dialogue of Scientology scam. Dialogue is based on an actual call I observed. It was a definitive moment in my ability to perform the duties required of the job. This is also Narcissism 101. Gain their trust. Caller, please help me. My daughter is shooting heroin. She's overdosed twice, and her father and I are terrified that we are going to lose her. We lost our son last June, and she is all I have left in this world. See the vulnerability? I don't know what to do. You are my last hope. Please, God, can you help me? The reg. You're doing the right thing. I'm not God. I'm the reg, but trust me. I'm going to help you save her life. Don't worry. Have faith. We will find her the best treatment available. I've got resources at my fingertips. I need you to trust me. Do you trust me? Someone you knew like less than 30 seconds. She agrees. Great. First, what is your name and what's your daughter's name? Listen to this, you guys. This should be the red flag. What kind of work do you do? Right there, that's the red flag. They're sniffing out the money. Does your husband work? Tell him you're broke and you have no money. That'll get rid of him. Caller. My daughter's name is Elizabeth. We named her after Elizabeth Taylor, quietly crying. I'm Pam, but I don't work. I fell down and broke my tibia. You know, that's the bone in your leg. Anyway, I've not been able to return to work. There were major complications during recovery. I had an infection and then I had an allergic reaction to the antibiotic. 2 surgeries later, and I am still not fully myself. But my husband works in aerospace. Locate the money. The reg. Sorry to hear that. Always, that's another red flag. It's a narcissist phrase. And on top of all this, let's make sure we get your daughter into rehab before it's too late. Vulnerable enough? Sounds like you have enough on your plate. I actually have a program in mind that sounds like a perfect fit for your daughter. Don't forget this person is Narcanon's Scientology scam. Let me get a few more answers filled out. There's a data collection and see where it directs us. Are you collecting unemployment or disability? Money, money, money. What's your husband's salary? Does he have a 401k? Wow. They're trying to take it all. Do you have insurance, co-insurance? Caller. No, disability and my unemployment barely help us to pay the bills. He honestly just started this job. We have to wait for 90 days for insurance, and I'm not sure if they will cover it. We depleted most of his 401k when we were both out of work, mourning the loss of our infant son, sobbing uncontrollably, barely able to muster any audible words. He was only a few months old. I've been such a wreck, I didn't notice the drug use, and her father's been working, trying to keep us fed. It's escalated so quickly. What are we going to do? The reg. Oh, Pam, I understand your grievance. I can't imagine having to go through any more on top of that. Opioids claim a life every 11 minutes. That's the harsh truth. In reality of her future, if she doesn't get the help she needs. He basically told her she's going to die if she doesn't go through them. Do you own your own home? Oh my God. Have equity on it? How much money do you think you can come up with to save your daughter's life? You guys seeing the diabolical black magic here? Caller. We have a couple of savings bonds. I'd have to talk to my husband about their value amount. I had forgotten about those. We have some money in an IRA that we were saving for her college. It's not much. We don't own our home. I'm not sure about equity. We have at most $12,000 we can access. Secure more money. The reg. I understand this is a difficult time to locate your resources. I'm trained to help. The program I had in mind earlier is the one that popped up on my screen as a perfect fit for her. It's a little more than the $12,000. Is there anyone in your family or circle of friends that would loan you the money? Mind you, these are the folks that LAPD line up with. Over 100,000 people overdose globally each year. Those statistics don't lie. Surely, there is somebody that cares enough about her. Is there a veteran in the family with a pension? There you go. And the conversation continues in this direction until the money is located, or until the caller is turned away to a generic number that offers irrelevant help to the cause. The reg, who is fully versed in the script below, directs you to Narcanon by presenting themselves dishonestly, proposing they're your only logical option. Kind of like a church, huh? But what do I know? Narcanon's Scientology scam, the script. There are 3 components to the Reg's script at Narcanon, designed to make it feel as though the person on the line, Narcanon, has exhausted all of your options, making Narcanon your only hope. And by the way, let's just make it clear, it's a Scientologist. Christian teen program. First, a Christian teen program is presented, but downplayed immensely as youth targeted with an unsuccessful recovery rate. Adults are welcome to attend, but the emphasis is placed on the teenage bunkmates. Oh, you mean like children? There's that word teen again. Rehabilitation time is outlined vaguely as a 1 to 2 year long stay. That's a lot of money. $19,000 is the price of admission. Narconon. Second, Narconon is glorified with unprecedented numbers of victory. Drug-free is their gospel, and they sing a fabricated tune about a 75% success rate. Except for the ones who killed themselves, or died of overdoses that were not medically supervised. It's on public record. Drug-free withdrawal, new life detoxification. That's dangerous right there. And I'm not a doctor, but that's extremely dangerous. And a lot of people have died because of this. New life detoxification and life skills are phrases that are expounded next by a mirage of untruths. Drug-free withdrawal, new life detoxification, and life skills are phrases that are expounded next by a mirage of untruths. Sorry, I had an interruption. Guaranteed you are talking to a liar. However, there's no guarantee on which lies you'll be told. Deceptions fluctuate between having a one-on-one counselor dedicated to your personal recovery to horseback riding on the beach. Daily massage therapy, by children, which I thought was illegal, is highlighted as aiding in the drug-free withdrawal. No other facility compares, making them the obvious choice. Human trafficking at its finest. $30,000 to $40,000 is the admission fee. Betty Ford Clinic. Lastly, there is a Betty Ford Clinic. Narconon asserts the Ford Clinic focuses more on alcoholism than drug addiction. And while they will accept opioid users, it's not their forte. Battling an opioid epidemic worldwide, over 90% of the calls pertain to opioid users, predominantly heroin addicts. $100,000 is the price tag that Narconon tacks on to the Betty Ford Clinic. We're going to have to go look into that. Something weird with that. Scientology scam against Googling. All three options delivered are more expensive than the average person admits to affording. Listening in, I felt the pain of each caller. Confused, desperate, and fearful of losing their loved ones. Have a universal tone. These people will do anything in their power to save the life of the addict they love. Narconon knows this and preys on their vulnerability. Wish they would just replace that with Scientology. Knowing an online search of Narconon reveals controversy and death, of course. Potential check writers are emailed direct links and guided farther into the deception. How is this different than the Chase Wave? An exclusive reg tour with you, still on the line, allowing them to safeguard against Google's disclosures of Narconon's deaths and other fraud. A huge emphasis is put on perfecting this procedure to avoid the caller from Googling Narconon. Like black PR? Like suppressive people? The reg will continue to use manipulative words, phrases, and deplorable tactics to ensure a fat commission check. Enormous amounts of pressure are put on the reg to perform at the status quo. This is sales. Monetary quotas are to be met weekly, I believe by Thursday. That's Stats Day. If they excel, they're celebrated as masters of the universes. Most of them flaunt their success with luxury cars. However, if they're unable to perform, they are severely scrutinized and reallocated within the org. Doesn't this remind you of LAPD with some of these corrupt, crooked cops with their fancy cars and what do they call that? Hold on. Okay, I was thinking about in-kind gifts. Basically, getting gifts that are of some type of monetary value, but it's not on paper. Wonder what the LAPD knows about that, especially in regards to Scientology. Looks like somebody needs to be auditing LAPD, doesn't it? Promises of the Scientology scam. Narconon has the audacity to impose a mock interviewing process for their Scientology scam, and each candidate is subjected to it to determine eligibility, helping preserve the illusion of prestige they've created, is being a credible rehab with impeccable success rates. It's a farce. Eligibility strictly adheres to whether or not you have the money. Huh. Kind of like Scientology. Wonder what Tom Cruise knows about that. Lies my reg told me. My reg advised that the rooms are private or double occupancy, with breathtaking views of the ocean. Flat screen televisions occupy each room. A hot tub and a heated pool are offered as great ways to relieve stress and relax sore muscles. One-on-one counseling, with children. To delve into the underlying issues of drug abuse is daily. Your program is designed to be run by you, and it takes as long as it takes. No, just as long as the money runs out. Therapists participate. No, they're not therapists. They're children auditors. Participate in running sessions while walking barefoot in the sand. Combing it for seashells is encouraged. Naturally, there's a full stock mini fridge in my room, accommodating my request for Coca-Cola. None of these promises were true. Infamous fables from the Glendale Reg include a lake, jet skis, horseback riding, fridge full of Mountain Dew, internet access, chapel, vending machines, cigarettes, yoga class, indoor gym, pool tables, therapists, and daily massage. You see how they're, what is that called when you impersonate misrepresentation? They're calling themselves therapists. Auditing, it's not therapists. And it's oftentimes children. LAPD. And daily massage, which, by the way, the daily massages are given by children. But every fucking body's okay with that. One student was promised a magnificent rolling green golf course after paying hefty shipping fees to fly his clubs out with him. Livid was one of the emotions he expressed. After completing his program, he went home, overdosed, and died. Wow. Ah. Rest in peace, Matthew Irvine. I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner, and pray that your family's well. Let's click on it. I can't make the picture bigger. So sad. Narconon is responsible for numerous reported deaths. Yes, they are. You know who's fine with that? LAPD's fine with it. Department of Justice is fine with it. Department of Justice, Homeland Security, Federal Bureau of supposedly investigation. However, there are several untold stories of victims who didn't receive any drug treatment and went home and died as a result. Yeah, those are stats that are not written down, Scientology. Maybe we need to dig those up. Just like all the suicided children. Their families deserve refunds and restitution. Yes, they do. Please don't dismiss the seriousness of this Scientology scam because its victims are only drug addicts. First, it's not true as their entire families are victims too. And second, if you feel a drug addict's life is of lesser worth because they chose that life, I love you through your ignorance and pray you'll never know the loss this disease inflicts, which, by the way, is usually started from trauma. So I had a nephew. Yeah, I've had a few of them. The mission of the Scientology scam. The COS's front group, Narconon, operates a twofold scam with one mission: money. First, by defrauding the unsuspecting public out of millions of dollars to finance their cult. Narconon is not a drug rehab independent from the church, as they claim. Second, the COS preys on drug addicts in their most weakened and vulnerable state. They're doing it in Ireland, too. Ireland's not having it. Many people surrender their lives to this cult, staying at Narconon centers, working as slave labor for an illegal wage. Remember, they don't Google anything about Scientology under strict orders not to, and they're completely unaware that they're surrounded their minds to the COS's indoctrination. These people are the forgotten victims of Scientology, as are the children. Practicing Scientologists without a fucking clue of who they've become. Many call themselves Christians. It is criminal. If you or a loved one are searching for drug rehabilitation, do your research and say no to Narconon. Learn more about safeguarding yourself against Scientology scams by recognizing the 20 signs of a cult. Repin to a friend and retweet to spread awareness. Narconon is Scientology. Hashtag Scientology is a cult. I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.